Doubles and coffee. What? MICKELA Pandey make a front page, boy, because the media is so impartial? No, MICKELA Pandey. You make a front page because Guardian media and mass media has bullied the UNC since inception, bullied the opposition since inception. The mass media is part of the PNM machinery that bullies the opposition into submission, whether it is from the Prime Minister. Remember, PNM controlled this country for 53 years. The other parties only have 15 years out of that. The PNM has created institutions that are PNM, infiltrated with PNM, Balisay juice. So you think that you are so important to the country that the people want to hear from you, MICKELA? No. You went in a whole election across a whole country and only get 25,000 votes. So the people clearly don't want to hear you. They're not inspired by you. They know you're lazy. They know you only come out to play games. And they know the bareback man was supporting you. So how come, MICKELA, you, who the population is not interested in, make a front page, boy? You make a front page because you make a Facebook post? Imagine that. Why is that? Because the PNM has placed people and has taken over institutions, claiming that they're independent in order to bully the population, bully the opposition, bully the UNC. So for you to come and say that the UNC government just elected on April 28 is bullying the PNM or bullying PNM independent institutions is absolutely ludicrous. But I'm glad you have awoken from your slumber. Where were you all this time after this embarrassment that you went into and you prevented your father's party, the party that your father formed, the United National Congress, from getting a constitutional majority on its own? You took away 3 seats from the UNC, the party of your father, the man who dreamt about for the last 15 years of his life constitutional reform. You come out to say that the UNC is bullying people because they have a different opinion. That is disingenuous, that is dishonest, and that is a downright lie. The UNC is making the population aware of the PNM continued control of so-called independent institutions. One must keep in mind that both constitutions that we got as Trinbagonians were written by the PNM. Ellis Clark in January 1962 with no consultation. People getting 5 minutes to talk in a conference, and the chairman of the conference was Williams. Marlborough House, Capitol was lied to. The boundaries were gerrymandered from then in favor of the PNM. 1976, the same Ellis Clark then becomes the president on the Republican Constitution. So PNM Prime Minister, PNM President, 30 years unfettered till 1986. It took your father getting all the people to coalesce into the NAR and having the humility to allow A.N.R. Robinson to lead because of the bullying of the PNM, the bullying that had created a racial divide since 1961 when Williams went and said Massa did done and injected race into the politics for the first time. That is worse now than it was then. You, your father, that made you didn't learn from him because the fruit sometimes falls far from the tree. And in your case, the fruit fell from the tree on top of a hill and rolled down far away. So you come now to attack the UNC when the UNC and the opposition has been bullied. You don't even understand what is bullying. When the PNM controls the rules, controls the constitution, controls the appointment, controls the independent institutions, and those that were appointed by the independent president, like the EBC, the Police Service Commission, the Public Service Commission, the Teaching Service Commission, and these institutions make promotions throughout, across the board. You come to say that the United National Congress talking about these issues, showing through evidence, through contributions, through clear bias, through actual bias, through apparent bias, through conflict of interest, that these institutions are not functioning as they should be. When constitutional reform is needed, you prevented the UNC from getting that, and now saying that in 2010 to 2015, the People's Partnership missed the boat with constitutional reform? Well, that is so dishonest, because it was elements like you and your father within the partnership government, because the partnership government was not UNC alone. It was UNC, COP, MSJ. Look, David Abdullah still arguing with Kamala on the outside there. The NJAC and the TOP. It was not a monolith government. So, with influential people like yourself and your father influencing people in the government, the seats were not there to get the constitutional majority. Even the attempts and the successes to bring proportional representation to local government and so on was an amazing feat by Kamala Persad-Bissessar in very trying circumstances. So for you now to come out on the side of the PNM, well, we know you're on the side of the PNM. That's all you are. And that's so sad, simply because your daddy lost an election to Kamala Persad-Bissessar and went through the last years of his life in a tabanka. You were even unable to talk to him and say, sir, you lost fair and square. You're a man who fought for democracy. Accept it. It's your party. You built it. Support Kamala. Get in there. No. You and your daddy decided for the last 15 years to attack Kamala, to bully Kamala. You're still trying to bully Kamala? You can't. She's too strong. She's too intelligent. And you are too confused. Because after you come out to attack Kamala without rhyme, reason, or rationale, you then go on to contradict yourself in the Guardian of all places. So the mere fact that the Guardian put you on the front page means the PNM like you. You are part of the bullying PNM machine. That's what they do. That's why you make doubles and coffee. I would think that you are irrelevant, but understand that I will continue to educate the population to know how dangerous PNM people are. And they use all types of different forms and fashion of people to spread the gospel of the PNM. In this case today, it is you, the daughter of Pandey, spreading the gospel of the PNM with ludicrous efficiency. Pandey said, we are deeply concerned. Who is we? You are no party. It's you typing up a thing in an air-conditioned room. Who is we? First of all, they lie. We are deeply concerned by the escalating pattern of attacks on the institutions that are supposed to uphold our democracy, including the independent senators, the president, and the judiciary. First and foremost, please, these independent institutions that you say are under attack. When the president was appointed, the gospel, preaching the gospel of the PNM, and she was the president of the Senate, and she was abusing and bullying from that chair the UNC senators. Did you see? Were you blind? Were you deaf? Were you dumb? Could you not speak? Didn't you see the bullying of Kangaloo as she sat for 7 years as Senate president? You didn't see that? So what was she doing there? Espousing the virtues of independence and democracy and allowing the voice of the opposition to be heard? Is that what you saw? Or you chose to close your eyes, MICKELA Pandey? What about the judiciary? When we saw people, judges sitting on case, and the brother was the chairman of the PNM board that brought the case against UNC. Or when the attorney general of the PNM got involved in a criminal case and signed an indemnity with a criminal in a criminal matter, usurping the power of the DPP. Did you see that? Did you hear that? Did you write anything? When you saw judges sitting down married to Rowley best friend Inez Gate, Gilbert Peterson senior counsel, and sitting on a political case, did you see anything like that? When other institutions like the Police Service Commission collapsed because of Rowley going by the president and the president breaching Section 123.4 and Bliss C. Prasad, who was also on a PNM board, you didn't see that. You didn't know that's a conflict of interest. You can be independent but be on a board and receive money as a stipend and take instructions from the PNM. What about attorneys who are getting briefs from the PNM in millions of dollars? Can they be independent? You didn't see all of these things, MICKELA. You come to try to bully UNC. The UNC will not be bullied by you. We are not afraid of differing opinions. What we don't want and don't like is the oppressive, dictatorial positions of the PNM, the lies, the PNM agents masked under independent. Independent institutions are very critical. Look at what Kamala Persad-Bissessar did with the TTRA. All the powers in her hands now. She could appoint a UNC board. The UNC board could select a director general, and then the director general could hire everybody, and Kamala Persad-Bissessar could therefore control people's taxes and so on, like Imbot wanted to do. Did Kamala Persad-Bissessar do that? She said, no. I have the power and I don't want that. I want fairness, equity, and independence. Did you come out and make a Facebook post and say, well done, Honorable Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar? That shows your power and strength and your belief in democracy? No, because you are a warped little girl. And you continue to try to help PNM, you go ahead. But the population has rejected you and will continue to reject you. According to Pandey, the opportunity for constitutional reform, a dream of her late father and former Prime Minister Bastio Pandey, the dream that you took away with your selfishness, with your friendship with the bareback man who just cussed down the place. That's the dream you took of your daddy. Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar's 2015 reign, but it's not too late, as she believes it is the only solution to the current tense political climate. Pandey said, if there are institutional biases or constitutional shortcomings, which no doubt there are. So what's your entire treatise about? No doubt they are. So you are agreeing with the UNC. You are agreeing with the Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar. You are agreeing with me. You are agreeing that these institutions have shortcomings and biases. But coming to say that we are bullying, ma'am, you're confused. That's why nobody's inspired to follow you. So try to withdraw. Try to stay quiet or stay calm, because you are making yourself look ridiculous. Because your entire point is that we are bullying. But then you say, well, you're right, they have biases. I could see it. It requires constitutional reform. But I helped the PNM to take away San Fernando East, Malabar Mausika, and Aruka Lupino from Kamala Persad-Bissessar, which would have ensured a sweeping change holistically to the Constitution to prevent PNM patronage, PNM poison, PNM infiltration of independent institutions. It's the PNM who bully. It's the PNM media. It's the PNM in positions. It's the PNM that control. How many PNM PSs are there? How many PNM CEOs? How many PNM across the board? How many PNM have been promoted across Trinidad and Tobago into positions, and they're preaching the gospel of the PNM? You are confused, MICKELA. Try to read a book. Try to get brighter. As a father, I am totally ashamed of you. I'm ashamed of you on behalf of your father. Bless.